Hello everyone, I'm not sure how many of you can join this evening. You're probably out enjoying the sunshine. It looks amazing back home, and obviously had quite an exciting evening with the win last night. James and I are more kind of like rugby people, but even we got quite excited to hear that we did well. So yay! Anyway, I'm going to talk to you today about the female cycle. Menstrual cycle, not actual cycling like James thought he was really funny saying in my post yesterday. Ha ha. So I'm going to talk to you, the reason, a bit of background in case you haven't seen any of my other stuff. I became interested in this anyway, and actually James and I are doing like hormone specialist course at the moment to qualify in kind of like hormone specialist. But I became really interested in this particularly when about 2 months ago, to be honest. So I came off contraception about 4 months ago or something. And I noticed, other than the fact that I felt quite hormonal with my emotions going up and down, it was actually more to do with injury. So I felt like my muscles were sore at certain points, and I was getting like muscle pulls and things like that. And also that I was weaker at certain points than I was others. At this point, I hadn't even worked out my cycle, to be honest, because it was still all over the place, but it's evened out now. So I can really be my own human guinea pig and see what's going on, because now I understand why I was feeling the way I was feeling, why I was training the way I was training, why I was wanting to eat the way I was eating. So I'm gonna pull up a little diagram that I have done. Hope you can all see that. I will post a picture of it in the comments underneath. So this pink squiggle is our estrogen. This green squiggle is our progesterone. This is the middle of our cycle, day 128. So if you're lucky, you're going to have a 28-day cycle. Some of us are a bit out. So this is what an amazing woman's cycle would look like. And I say amazing with a bit of a snigger, because actually now I know more. I actually know that we have a pretty hard time over here. I didn't know this because I've been on contraception for about 20 years. So a long time on and off, but about 20 years I've been pumping my body full of hormones, which is a great thing, don't get me wrong. Obviously lots of pluses, and one of the pluses that I'm going to talk to you about is injury risk. So, of being on the contraceptive pill, the combined pill, when you have a combined estrogen and progesterone, okay? So, let's start at the beginning, the very beginning. So, when you're entering the beginning of your next cycle, you'll see that your estrogen goes right up. And around here as well, you've got testosterone, okay? I haven't actually popped that in. But you have a spike of testosterone around here as well, which means as it's the... thanks Alexis, darling. So, up here, when you're spiking with your estrogen, you're also going to get a spike of testosterone. And we all know, obviously, testosterone is the male sex hormone. So this is like the strength time. So testosterone's around here. This was when we're going to feel our strongest. So as it rises, the estrogen, we are feeling good. We're feeling pretty rocking on, you know. We are insulin sensitive. Okay, insulin sensitive means that we are able to process carbohydrates particularly more effectively. It means that our body can regulate the blood sugar more effectively, and it needs less insulin in order to regulate the sugar in the blood. So we have insulin sensitivity. So this is great because we can process carbs better. You can have a higher carb intake at this time. This also means that you are able to fuel your body. If you're doing intensive workouts and intensive lifting, it means that you're able to fuel your body with carbohydrate, which is really great because obviously carbs is your fuel. Carbs get a really bad rap, but carbs is your fuel, and it's going to give you loads more energy to lift and do endurance. At this time when estrogen is at its highest and rising, you can do intensive workouts. You can do more endurance. Your metabolic rate is stable. You are just generally stronger as well. So if you do lifting here, this is where you'll get your PBs, your personal best. This is where you'll shock yourself when you're lifting heavier than you have at other points. You've got loads of energy, you've got a spike in testosterone, everything is tickety-boo. This is a great place to be. Yeah. You can process carbs. Yes. Although I would put a caveat on that. Don't stuff yourself full of carbs, okay? It just means your body is able to process them better. Okay. Then we have ovulation around here. Now this is when the bitch kind of starts happening. Literally. No, I'm joking. James would probably agree with me there. But this is a bit of a bitch, right? Because we get a dip. This is where injury risk starts to become really high because you've had a sudden dip in estrogen. Loads of research around this. I was in the Metro yesterday, which was great, talking about this. Loads of research. Your ACL injuries are really, really common, and you are 4 to 8 times more likely to have an ACL injury around this time. It's fascinating stuff. Not great for us, but fascinating. Your neuromuscular control is also lower, so you might find you're a little bit clumsy. Yes, James, I was clumsy, wasn't I? So clumsy around here, which means that actually your form needs to be, you need to really concentrate on your form here. You know, you will be a little bit off, your mind-muscle connection will be a bit off, so you need to be really careful with your form, which means if you are lifting heavy, be super, super careful, okay? The reason being as well is your collagen metabolism is low, it starts to dip. So you're kind of going to be a bit wobbly. Your collagen's not there as much. Yeah, so combined with those two, that's why your injury risk is higher. So you're not going to be as stable, mind and body, basically, around here. So if you're lifting heavy, be really, really, really careful. I'm sweating here, sorry. Be really, really careful, basically, on your form. And if you need to go lighter, go lighter. Now this is where our estrogen starts to dip and our progesterone starts to rise. Okay, it's also where our metabolic rate starts rising to the tune of 7.7% higher, and we are consuming, or we're gonna wanna consume about 100 to 300 calories more per day. That's what our body, because our metabolic rate is higher, that's what our body wants and needs. So you're gonna wanna consume more here, you're gonna be ravenous. The annoying thing is your insulin sensitivity drops, so you become more insulin resistant, meaning that you need more insulin in your blood to balance it, which also means that your carb intake needs to be dropped, okay? Because carbs are sugar. So if you're feeding your body with loads of carbs, it's essentially sugar, and your body can't deal with it as well here. So here's the thing, another annoying point. You are going to be craving carbs around here, particularly. You're going to be craving carbs. Why? Because your serotonin drops around this point as well, and carbs give a quick release of serotonin, especially high GI carbs. So that's like white bread, white pasta, your crisps, all that kind of salty snacks. You'll be craving them because you're going to want to pick up that serotonin level and get a hit, so your body's crying out for it. But, as I've said, your body is really, really bad at processing those at this time. So please try and look at how many carbs you're having here. I've got some tips down here, but one of the ones I didn't put on, which I don't want to forget about, is if you are really ravenous around this time, just maybe use a food diary or something, because you might be surprised at the extra calories. Your body needs it anyway, but make sure it's from the good stuff, okay, not from the bad stuff. And carbs aren't bad, it's just that you're less able to process them at this time. So keep a food diary and see what you're actually eating, and then maybe look on MyFitnessPal and see the kind of calories you're consuming. If it's more than about 100 to 300 calories, that's probably why you might be feeling a little bit bloaty. So, also here, there's more strain on your cardiovascular system. your body temperature rises, and you will not be able to do endurance sport as much. So this is the time where you take more rest days. This, she says, I take rest days, of course I do. Actually, I had to yesterday, so that's a good girl. But this is where you need to take more rest days. It's where you need to lower the intensity. So no insane HIIT, not for lengthy periods of time, and also do things like yoga. Oh, thanks Alexis, I'm glad it's helping. Things like yoga, bring it down, just bring the intensity down a little bit, because your body cannot cope with it. Your cardiovascular system is basically just, there's a strain on it, so don't put any more strain on it than needs to be. You're not as strong because your estrogen has dropped off, your testosterone's gone, see ya. So your strength is going to go. I have seen this massively since I've been off contraception. I'm taking like 5 kilos off of some of my bench presses, off of my squats. It's insane. I feel pretty weak now around like this time. So don't go for personal best. Don't beat yourself up. You're not going to be brilliant here, okay? So please don't beat yourself up. No intensity. So as it starts to go down, you might get like a bit of water retention here as we dip down, as we menstruate. Another piece of research that I've looked into is there's not a load around it. And again, all of this stuff, there's always contradictory stuff, but your body produces relaxin around the time that you are menstruating. That's to get your cervix ready for like having like menstruating basically. So it's relaxing, as the hormone says, relaxing some of the muscles in your body. Again, injury risk. So be super careful around this time as well. Not only because you might be a little bit leading up to this. Obviously you've got PMS. You've got relaxin starting to come through the body. So just be a bit careful again about that mind-muscle connection. So my tips around this time, try and supplement your carbs with protein. I mean, like, protein is the most amazing macro anyway. We always bang on about it. Substitute it with protein. Not only will it make your muscles feel stronger and make you feel fuller for longer. So protein makes you feel fuller for longer. It releases leptin, which is the I'm full hormone. So this helps with that. So it'll make you feel fuller for longer. Protein also helps repair muscle, build muscle strength and everything. So it's amazing, especially around this time when you might be feeling a bit weaker. Low carb. So as I said, make sure you're really tracking your carbs that you're eating, because you will crave them because of the serotonin. Try and avoid chocolate. Again, it's a serotonin spike, but you're going to come smashing down. You're less insulin sensitive. So basically, you're going to go up and down, up and down, up and down, and your blood sugar level is going to be going all over the place anyway, so avoid more loaded sugar. Reduce intensity, I've said that. Also, up your amino acids. So this is things like turkey, seeds, and things like that. Basically, amino acids help with protein synthesis. So they're the building blocks of protein. So they will help the protein really get into your muscles and be synthesized and like help repair and strengthen the muscles around a time when they might be a little bit weaker. So I think, and obviously adding rest days, but I've said that. So I hope that helps. I find this stuff absolutely fascinating. And I'm really, really seeing it in my body. You know, I'm all about the mind and the power of the mind. So it might be a little bit psychosomatic. I'm sure I'm thinking about it a lot more. But I wanted to let you know that that's why you're feeling certain ways, not to beat yourself up like I do a lot. When I wasn't like lifting as heavy and things like that, and also craving certain foods. I think awareness is where our power is, actually. So now you're aware of what's going on, you're more accepting of what's going on, and actually you can compensate and go, okay, I'm going to do a bit of yoga here, I'm going to add in some rest days, I'm going to be kinder to myself. Because, you know, us women have a little bit of a bad rap at certain points. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Maddie. We have a bit, you know, so, that's what I was going to say. So, what I was going to come back to, this also fascinated me, and this is what the Metro wrote about. The contraceptive pill, the combined one, the estrogen and the progesterone. Basically, you are evening out your estrogen a lot. So I've been pumping my body with estrogen and progesterone nice and level. It doesn't really dip. So Hence the fact that I haven't had as many injuries, because it's when your estrogen dips that you get the injury. Or not everyone, but there has been all that research around the ACLs and the knees. There's lots of research around more knee injuries when you're ovulating, when your estrogen dips. So again, this was all fascinating to me. I hope it helps. And I would love, love, love to know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll paste a picture of this in the comments as well, just so you've got it, and there's some like little hints and tips on it. And it was a pleasure to have you here. See you later.